Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with our first finalist, the former world champion Terran in the red, the Frenchman from Team Liquid. It's Clem, facing off against his greatest rival, the rank 1 Protoss in the world, the Mad King. In the blue, we have herO in a best of 5 Terran versus Protoss Grand Finals to the Pigosaurus Cup number 59 tournament. And before we get started, it'd be incredible if you could smash that like button and maybe even subscribe. Don't be kind of the algorithm. And Jimmy, what are we at? 1,760 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways because I don't know what else I can do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better, especially than Clem, as herO starts things off about as early as possible with a proxy gate. Not an entire commitment. He has a gateway back at home. It's a 2-gate. And it's off to the side here where it's less likely to be scouted. I'm not sure if the Reaper pathing will take it by it, but Clem, in typical Terran fashion, getting a little greedy, cutting some corners, does not SCV scout, which means right now... Oh, does the Reaper... Well, the Reaper just passed through... Okay, he's just gonna see it. Okay. Alright. He just sees the gate. Reaper goes back home. Meanwhile... herO just expands. It's a classic macaroni and cheese opener. You threaten the cheese, and most Terrans are not very tolerant of it. And the moment that you think they've committed to the defense, boom, slap down the Nexus and hope you can get an economic advantage. So the Reaper's scouting for the Adepts. It's not going across the map. It's not scouting for the Nexus. It's not pass and go, not collecting 200 minerals. But the bunker, not quite finished. A few SCVs could be trading ships for the hazard pay here. But the infernal door-based technology, something the Protoss have never been able to develop. Many gates, no doors, is going to stop them for now. Maybe one SCV, but the Reaper doing a lot of damage from inside the bunker. The Adept almost dead already. A second one coming up. And actually backing off with the second Adept, maybe trying to bait something out. But the Reaper could pick off the Adept. The first one, gets away, braves the side blades, and wait a second, Shady's back. But there's no friends left to tell. The Terrans don't have any. Meanwhile, Stargate is already in production. herO going the complete other direction. The whiplash style of Protoss, where you keep your opponent guessing so much they hurt themselves in their own confusion. A Cyclone is a good catch-all for Terran against most things. But the Phoenixes themselves can quite literally catch any individual units on their way across the map. So the Stargate may be exactly the choice herO needed in order to take advantage of this situation. Clearly, Clem is playing somewhat cautiously. Some might even say timidly, if they were looking to be mean. And I would say, you know what, timidly. As he's scared that herO just has an entire army is on one base. He has no way to know. He's in the dark. And that's one of the scariest names in all of StarCraft. Ranked number 1, by the way. At least according to Dark. The pylon stands alone. Well, with the gateway next to it, but the gateway just kind of sits. I will elaborate no further and take no questions. The gate's just going to be taken out, and herO, a single zealot. All right. And now some Adepts. It looks like he wanted... What? No, 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 no! What? herO just mind-tricked Clem into shooting his own cycle... What? Clem is so on edge against herO. How does that even happen? Like... Okay. And then he just... How does that happen? He just misclicks the Cyclone, dies quite quickly to the siege tank, and that's kind of a huge deal. The Cyclone is the most important thing for zoning out the Phoenixes, and herO, probably wondering where it went, but not caring too much, he's able to nab one of the siege tanks, picks it up into the air, will eventually take it out. Another siege tank at the back, but the Adepts are up close and personal. Social distancing is not allowed in herO's camp, and right now picks up the tank. The SCV's underneath, might be able to repair it. But yes, repairing it in the air. They can't attack in the air, which, you know, doesn't make any sense. But moving on. All the Adepts are taken out, but the medevac is being spawn camped effectively. Knocked out of the sky. One of the Phoenixes taken with it. And herO, again, another Nexus. Though he didn't actually mine out the mineral wall here, which is a bit of a mistake. The Viking hits the ground. Get up here! Right up. He picks it back up, puts it back down, shakes it all around, and you do the hokey pokey. It's a dangerous game, all right? They don't tell you about that in school. I'm not sure what they do tell you about at this point, but whatever works best. 4 Phoenixes. That is herO. Most of herO's army has 5 Phoenixes, a Stalker, and 2 Adepts. He did mine through the mineral wall. I really don't think Clem... Well, Clem has not... Technically, Clem hasn't seen a single base out of herO, but he doesn't know for sure this isn't one base, though he can have his suspicions. The 3rd base is certainly a lot earlier than you might expect from someone who's been continually attacking with effectively all of their units. But herO? Glaives, sure. Yeah, let's throw that one in there. We're gonna go mass Glaved Adepts. Alongside the Phoenixes. Well, underneath them, if we're gonna be pedantic. Which, you know, I'm feeling it today. What are words? Good question. Phoenixes, still just keeping tabs on absolutely everything. Clem cannot move out without risking losing a big chunk of his account. Oh, it went way worse. I thought he'd see it and pull back. I choose to believe he saw it and went forward. That's one way to eat the Widowmine hits and cut down the count. Really, though, the Widowmine count, I don't think it was intentional. I think he just missed it. But spawn camping the Medivacs even further. I don't think he's going to quite get it. The Widowmine count could be devastating. It's really the most important thing right now, because mass Adepts, they need to have the critical mass. This is something you almost never see, because it's just less effective than charge lots the majority of the time. And the opportunities to get damage done with a critical mass of Adepts are pretty much between like 80 and 120 supply. So right now, past that, the Bio Ball has too much DPS and Adepts can't do enough to grind through it. Before that, there's usually just not enough in general. So, Glaives are done. Not sure. I think Clem spotted... Yeah, abandoned ship! Everybody get out of... Well, the Phoenixes, Adepts, gonna try to eat the Shades. The Widowmine's burrowing does enough to actually keep herO at bay. But he's got the 2nd proxy gate of the game. Is he gonna do the Shade through? Or is he just gonna ignore the Widowmines entirely? Yep. Oh, that's one way to do it, I guess. Just gonna ignore those mines. A couple more. Just edging the range there for a moment. And herO's gonna go for it. He's got a 4th base on the way, but he's never missed an opportunity to attack into an entrenched position. Those Widowmines can work both ways. Picks up some of the Marine shading all the way in, slipping in between the command centers. I have no idea how this is gonna go. And I do now. Very poorly. The Glaved Adepts once again stuffed at the door. And Clem, well, herO has managed to lose almost 3,000 more resource. And the Stalker gonna get caught down the center. The Widowmines, there's a 2nd one there. Actually gets to pick it up on the way home conveniently. Now gonna finally deal, oh no. Things are falling apart rather quickly. As herO, some Adepts into the natural, but he's left with, he has 12 Adepts, 4 charge lots, a couple Phoenixes, and a Dream. He needs to use whatever mind trick he did with the Cyclone and get Clem to shoot half of his own army in its Medivacs or something, because the window to get damage with Adepts shattered. It wasn't closed, it wasn't opened, it's just gone. And charge is not even done. So, certainly points for originality, but I'm feeling like maybe not points for winning the game at this stage, as the Adepts are chased down by their much more cost-effective counterparts. And, herO demonstrating to us maybe why the Mass Adept style doesn't see a lot of usage in this matchup. The charge lots coming in, the Phoenix is taken down, and despite the shenanigans early, Clem will just be tearing through everything. Oh yeah, let's pull the probes. Throw those in. There's just so much damage, it's even denying the potential Widowmine hits. Just dragging them back. GG! Clem survives the onslaught of game number 1. herO rebuffed with his curious yet ineffective strategy. Once again asking himself whether or not he could, and never, ever asking himself whether or not he should. So, that brings us, I think appropriately, to game number 2 on Winter Madness. Pushing the bounds of what Protoss should and shouldn't do, and then pushing them further. I think after there was a surprising hesitation on the first shade. When the Widow Mines were burrowed, I really thought he'd commit there and just try to drag the mines into the army. But no, he backed off, and that was maybe the moment where Clem was clearly... You know what the problem was? You guys know what the problem was. The gate wasn't close enough. The proxy was not proxied enough. So... It's a max Pax build. Somewhat amusingly, max Pax almost no longer ever does this build. But herO... Well, it's not a max Pax. It's just a 2-gate proxy in the natural. And then, herO went back outside and came in the front door. All right. Yeah, totally normal probe timing. Does Clem know based on that? Clem walls the probe in. Well, I'm sure now that probe can't do anything. No sort of shenanigans for that probe. No problems here. Don't worry about... but they were all of them deceived. For 2 more gates were made. Now, herO, any amount he could do to the SCVs is kind of a big deal too, because it's very likely that Clem will not repair them to full. He might repair them enough so the probe can't kill them, but... He wouldn't do it again. He would totally do it again. In fact, he is more than happy. herO just ramping up the cheese. Give me the recall. No, he's dragging the zealot a little away. Does he show the zealots? I don't think so. I think you just keep them hidden. If Clem hasn't scouted, then why show him? Oh my. And... oh my, he's even... Uh-oh. Oh no. It's a disaster! Surprise! And the stalkers are on the way! Batten down the hatches. Oh, but it's right there. The stalkers are gonna show up. The Reaper's on its way home. But the home front is not looking much better. The boys are entirely pulled. Many of them already bruised from the actions of the probe. He just lets the SCVs out. The boys pulled, try to pick it off. But those softened up SCVs helping out. herO was supply blocked for a bit, but Clem helps him with that. The command center gonna draw some shots, I guess. The bunker is almost complete, but he gets one of the Marines. There's only... No, there's 3 Reapers now, actually, in there. Huh. Well... Here we are. herO doubled down on the cheese. And Clem was not prepared. Gonna use the shade yet again. Adepts, a surprisingly pivotal role in this series. Are we pivoting towards a victory or another disastrous game? It's unclear, but he might just be able to take out the supply depot is burning. Carrick is burning right now, and a shield battery at home will protect him from the Reaper. The Adept, all this softened up SCVs. I'm giving the probe some assists on this one. And he's just working on another supply depot. There's enough, he picks off the SCV. Clem is almost supply blocked. He has a couple depots beyond the mineral line. A sentry, he could lock these units in. The Cyclone gets a lock. But, oh well, the Cyclone's helping out a lot here. herO may lose everything. Warp gate is nearly done, but if he loses the he needs to keep that pylon to warp in. Oh, it's gonna be close, but not that close. Unless Clem doesn't lock on. The warp gates are opening up. Oh, herO, the master of disaster. He takes out another reap. Warping it. Oh, wait, he has a nexus. Yeah, Clem knows. It's a macro cheese. This is a macro build. You can tell by the way it is. Isn't that neat? All right. Clem is trying to build a command center. herO's got a robo back here. So he has no gateways at home, which isn't ideal. Why am I a couple more coming up now? All right, the proxy gates serve their purpose. It worked perfectly. And Clem, if it wasn't Clem, I think the game is already over. As it stands, well, there's a shield, but actually the economy's so good. Double locks onto a stalker. Gotta make sure those gates go down. I have a premonition of herO repowering those gates with a war prism. I mean, the Marines are working on it. The hallucinated Phoenix. Hello? Move, get down in front! Oh my! Could you move? Thank you, Billy. You're welcome, Sarge. Hallucinated Phoenix gonna spot everything. And the War Prism? Well, does this even out? herO does have a 10 worker lead, but his Twilight Council getting charged now. Probably a smart move. He knows he's dealing with the mass barracks. There's no wall on top of the ramp because the depots were taken down. 5 more gates on the way. herO cancels his 3rd base. Did Clem's? No, he just cancels it to get some more minerals. And it's just gonna be a mass charge lot all in. We've had 1st cheese, but have we had 2nd cheese? I guess technically this is like 3rd or 4th. This is the Wisconsin build here, apparently. And sure, throw a Dark Shrine in there. A nice Shrine to Dark to top things off and add some extra flavor. But, you know, I think the flavor we're going to be adding momentarily is salt. And our Frenchman may be providing some of that. As without a bunker, oh my, the observer comes in, which is not suspicious. All right, that's kind of a normal thing. And in fact, he's suspecting the DTs, but I don't know if he's suspecting the sheer magnitude of charge lots that herO is bringing to the frontier. Oh my, just warping him in halfway across the map. That's not enough. That's not nearly enough. He doesn't have the stim combat shield +1. Moments away. The charge lots. The guardian shield. The tanks are gone. The SCV's next. The cyclone. He's up the ramp. Nothing to stop him. The door's torn asunder. It is already way too much damage, and herO turns it back around. He doubled down, and now he's evened up. What? Sharp and effective. herO just, the killer instinct there. He has such a strong killer instinct. It sometimes leads him astray. But thank you, Jimmy. Sometimes, not so much. Well, Clem, I'm sure not hyped about that one. But with no scout, will he be scouting behind it? You gotta wash behind your ears, doors and corners. Well, metaphorically, of course. That's where they get you. And right behind his base, lurking, a pylon and 2 gateways. All right? Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You fiend. You demon! Ah. herO, also villain. He brings the first probe across and a second probe to proxy. This is a whole team effort. Clem? Oh my god, he's gonna scout it. He scouted for pride. Why would you put it there? It's in the most obvious location. Oh, the SCV's hype man repairs him. Sure, NG Bay block to stop the macro part of the cheese. And now what? He can't keep getting away with it. He's only gotten away with it once. In fact, I think if he didn't do that redonkulous, that's my word for it. We're testing it out. Don't like it. We'll see what the test audiences think. Yay, nay, like, subscribe. Anyways. If he hadn't done the redonkulous... No. Okay, never mind. I'm vetoing it. If he hadn't done the ridiculous... Sure. Adept Glaives build. In fact, I think he would have been in a pretty good spot. But the Adept Glaives were a swing and a miss. Or maybe just a wild throw, but either way. So far, 2 for 2 on the proxies actually getting something done. But this time around, Clem scouted it earlier than ever before, has the best preparation he could have had. The Zealot will be recalled back after taking a few hits. Sure, that's where, well, I guess he did get NG Bay blocked. So here's the macro Roni. He's got a proxy gate every game now, right? Like, as a matter of principle. We're not just doing the... Well, Adept, back home to deal with the Reaper. There's pylons just kind of scattered throughout. The powerhouse of the Protoss. The Zealot. Yep, there's a Reaper! Zealot, particularly impotent against it. But the Adept Shade will chase. At least try to preempt it. So, despite the curious nature of both the mini-map and the build so far, literally nothing has died besides a little bit more of my sanity, which was already a useless quality in the first place. So, sure, Dark Shrine first. Well, about as quick as you can get it. A Dark Templar rush. It seems so obvious, it becomes not obvious again. Like one of those 2200 IQ builds. Oh, he just scouted that. Clem cancels the engineering bay. But he's not going to have one. I feel like this has rolled over into being a great choice. You just keep throwing out the proxy gate and the Dark Templar rush, and eventually you become Grandmasters on the ladder. Or the rank 1 Protoss of the world, even better. I assume he's Grandmaster. What is this SCV doing? Are you stuck? Are you just cowering in fear from the mental crucible of herO's builds? Now, this continues to be the problem for Clem. Clem is such a good player, he is unprepared to deal with herO. It's not that herO's bad. It's that herO isn't anything. You cannot define him, and therefore it's impossible to prepare. But for now, the probes are pulled, and the Widow mines some Prairie Dog micro to make sure, oh, he's just gonna walk right through it with the Stalker. Picks up, gets out with the Marines. And a Dark Templar warped in at the half-map products. It's funny every time. Like, on its own, it's not that funny. But in context, I don't have to explain it. It's less funny if I explain it. Oh, no. The door's open. You can't leave the... He saw it, but it was too late. Oh, no. One scan at the natural. He's got another one in the main in a moment. Yeah, he should have this one, but that DT just eviscerating the Marines. He's gonna clean it up, but he's already lost so much time. There's charge on the way. There's another Dark Templar headed across the map. He knows. There's a Raven in production. Another DT. He knows there's not enough energy. Can he see the... He can't see the missile turret. But, okay. Get out of my face. Will we get the supply depot? No. But missile turret finishes. Raven's almost complete. But wait, there's more. herO's up 12 workers. The only risk here is that herO sends his entire army to its death and has literally nothing to defend against the Raven push. This is what you have to do. You literally have to cut off their economic arm and foot while tweaking their ear in order to force out a Raven from the Terrans. And even then, immediately we're pulling the boys. And you know, it makes sense. Because right now, Clem won't be making very many, as his economy has already been shattered. So, a clear opportunity and an obligation to go for the all-in. His cards are on the table right now, and herO might try to flip it, but he only has so many units. He has 7 charge lots, 3 stalkers. If he can get the Raven, which is optimistic at best. Okay, wait a second. Well, he is not bothering to target it. Guardian Shield is massive right now. The Guardian Shield is reducing so much damage. Reduces range damage by 2. And those Zealots already have +1 armor. Rarely are the unit counts so low and the upgrades so minimal. But herO will retreat from his forward base back to his natural, which still gives him a significant economic lead. So, Clem will scan forward, and through all the fire and fury of this game and this series, I think herO's still in an okay position as, well, he lost the medevac. Clem lost the medevac, which means these Marines are in autumn colors. No, not the Raven! Oh, no! Clem's about to get Edgar Allan Poe'd right now. He immediate... Oh, that's not a DT. Does it need to be? I don't know. He circumvents the Liberator by just attacking the other side. 6 more Stalkers gonna be warped in. And I think herO's got it. Oh, no! Clem! Clem, much to my surprise, and to his credit. You know what? Shout out to Clem. I really thought he'd just GG it there. And you know what? He'd be well within his rights. I would not be blaming him for it. But he did knock a Protoss down to 2 bases. And that Protoss is also limited to gateway units. Sure, it's charge and DTs, but there is a real opportunity for Clem to claw his way back. He has the production. He has multiple orbital commands. And also, I think he's a little salty that it got to this point and somehow the casual mid-map proxy / macro build ended up working. So, herO, the greatest Diamond League player in the history of StarCraft 2. And once again, proving the efficacy of his builds. Because if you don't know what you're doing, your opponent can't either. To be fair, herO clearly adapting on the fly. And Clem, willing to let him maybe overshoot his mark, he picks up. And, well, Blink isn't done. So that means the medevac will survive, at least for now. Clem is on a very thin ice at the moment. If that medevac gets taken out, Blink for DTs and Stalkers at the same time. He might not need the Blink. Oh, no. Well, that's disastrous. That takes the game from a very small chance to a hope at this point. A hope that herO goes full herO, because anything else... The hallucinated Phoenix keeps forcing him to drop out his drops, which is a sentence. A death sentence, maybe. There's nothing at all. 2 siege tanks, a handful... He blinks! It's too much. Clem has nothing. They'll come back with the drops. The boys are pulled. The reinforcements are eviscerated. And herO, with his 3rd proxy gate in a row, brings the series to match point. This is why people hate Protoss and why people love herO all at the same time. The macro cheese every game. And like this game, Clem had the best position of all 3. He had the most... Honestly, I think having that much time to prepare was worse. Because Clem can outthink himself. Like, he was like, how do I deal with this exact scenario? Whereas herO's already moved on to something else. Not sure what, but it ended up working out. Throw the DTs in, like, one of the scenarios where the Dark Templar rush was so obvious, it became well masked again. Like, it's such an obvious cheese that nobody just goes for DTs. Well, I guess herO's nobody at all. What? Where? What? I mean, is he allowed to do that? I wrote down herO's build somewhere. Like I've been taking notes, but I can't find him at the moment. All it says. Oh, I never learned how to read though, so. A bold move, building his buildings in his own base, and then scouting around the edges because maybe Clem was inspired by his most original plays. Well, this is where you usually do the filler, like, meta commentary about what went wrong, what went right. Maybe talk about the map a little bit, talk about the tournament. That's a good one. We'll do that. Pigosaur Cup. Pig and Stegosaurus, the organization, both combining to bring us these incredible games. So make sure to check them out. I think Monday nights, but I think they've been doing them on Tuesday. So if you manage to catch them, you can support them directly. But thank you very much for bringing us these clearly good games for the fans. And another mind-bending battle between 2 out of the 3 top players in the game. And Adept gonna shoot. I'm sure the Reaper and Clem a little bit surprised. It may be relieved to see that the Adept is coming from a gateway inside of the main. Just need to repair that mothership in the corner over there. I think this map is based on that first mission of Legacy of the Void, which is actually pretty sick. Love the aesthetics that map makers throw into it. A lot of the maps in the new pool, let alone the layout. Who cares about that? Pro players very much do. But just the look. We got a lot of variety in the geography of the new map pool. From the kind of ancient ruins to asteroids and barren landscapes and whatever that last one or the first game was, 10,000 feet. All right, Tarantino's dream. I don't. But quite a diverse mothership. The map that's just a mothership. Honestly, one of my favorites, just in the feel of it and looking at the mini map every time and seeing it not be square. That's crazy. We've invented new shapes. It's a sign. Not to go off on a tangent, but because I can do that. If you'd like. And subscribe. Reaper on the run. will heal, much like Protoss can't. Stalker Sentry. Thought he might go for the force field, but the chase is on. The entire Protoss army chasing this one Reaper to the ends of the earth. And indeed, it does very much... Oh, he's gonna stay in the trees. Oh, he doubles back. There's no blink. Not for a few more seconds. Gonna warp in some more Stalkers on the chase again. But he tries to squeeze through. It's too late. Gets a little bounce. Will interrupt the mining a tiny amount. Out of spite, mostly. A Liberator headed across the map, but kind of weird to see a generic blink timing here out of herO. Though immediately following it up with charge, which is also not... Let's just... We're going to use Clem versus Max Pax as a baseline for what PvT is supposed to look like. And it's very much this. Though a little bit late on the bunker back at home means herO's going to get some damage done with the Stalkers and actually whittle down the Marine count dramatically. Even gets an Adept behind the mineral line. Meanwhile, though, a Liberator siege is up in the main and absolutely no response out of herO. It's a disaster! His probes going to be slaughtered. herO gets into the main base, though. Uses the hallucinated Phoenix. Gonna try to pick off some more units. Another Stalker casually trying to join the group activity. Oh, this is a mess. Oh, no. herO bumbling around the main... A recall will get one Stalker out. Will tell a very sad story of its glory and survival. Eventually, the Liberator gets picked off, but... Clem has more workers. He was not really... He lost the reactor on the starport, which is a moderate slowdown on production, but the factory will so graciously sit aside and build another one for the starport. Overall, definitely not worth it for herO. Didn't kill a single SCV. But doesn't take so much damage that he's in a critical position quite yet. The fact there's no medevac here might be a giveaway. herO pumping out the probes. Sure, trusty old Dark Shrine. Slaps it down in the main. A bit optimistic, but... Yeah, we've got the spy line coming up, but it might be either perfectly timed or too little too late. The medevac will be going by literally moments after. If the probe was 3 seconds slower, it would have spotted the medevac. It's a Widow Mine drop setup. But, oh, the bio gonna chase, break the knees. Very fragile of some of those Stalkers. Knocks out one, and meanwhile, there's nothing to deal. He's gonna scout the Dark Shrine in the main as well. Fighting on the field, but the Widow Mine drop, unresponsive. Oh, no. Gonna sacrifice some of the probes. That's something. Gonna fight, maybe kill the Cyclone. Juggling back. The Widow Mine drop gets out. Some missile turrets on the way. Most of the value of the Dark Templar has been negated at this point. Widow Mine drop coming back in for another round, though he doesn't. He still has quite a cooldown. herO chasing forward. Might be able to knock out the medevacs. There's not that much on the ground, but the reinforcements are stimming across. The charge lots will be hit by the Widow Mines, though. And so will the probes. And herO struggling on both sides. The medevac knocked out of the sky. A small victory in a sea of defeats. herO has dragged himself out of more dire situations, but it's hard to recall any. The DT's with the army. And Clem actually used all of his scans. He does not have any scans, so the DTs actually maybe could fight. A fourth base attempted, a bit optimistic. The army supply heavily in favor of Clem, but he's starting to mine out of the main. It's still going to be a couple minutes before that's a real factor, though. herO just going to work on the third base, but he gives it away. And with Combat Shield, the DTs can't even one-shot the Marines. Most of these Marines in Autumn Colors, he blocks forward. The Charge Lots try to drag in the Widow Mine. It's somewhat successful in doing so. And another DT, just slicing up the reinforcements. Scan will clear up the third base for now. Not quite a super pylon on all those, but more DTs warped in. A scan. Gonna try to target it down, but he escapes for now. The DT slowed and take it out, but wait, there's more. And the Dark Templar are keeping herO in the game and keeping Clem at bay. At least for now. Might be able to pick off some more of these medevacs. Does he have another scan? The DT slicing up the Marauders, but not actually getting any kills so far. I assume he has a scan banking up momentarily, but so far the DT getting a lot of damage done, but look at the supply. This is untenable. Unburrows the mines to avoid the hit. Depowers the shield battery. A couple DTs in the third, but the fourth base, a herO is down. The Widow Mine does some real damage. Citizens arrest. Stop right there, criminal scum. 4 SCVs dead, but the Dark Templar is taken down. Just the DTs coming out one at a time. Another scan. He's going for DT Blink. But the charge lots are wiped out. The bio balls rolling through. And herO's quickly running out of any units to pretend to deal with this with. He's fighting to the bitter end. The DT's trying to sneak across. There's another couple. Almost gets wiped out by the Widow Mines on their own. Another couple DTs taken down. There's one that was caught in the scan warping in. 2 Widow Mines. Too much. And the Clempire strikes back. We're all tied up. 2-2. herO tries a standard start and swerves directly into the mass Dark Templar. It isn't enough. The Blank Stalkers were not nearly good enough. He suffered critical losses. And Clem kind of buckled down and made sure there was no coming back from that. So, it will all be decided on Mothership. I just noticed there's actually a wall-off indicator for this map. Pylon, gate, or gate in Cybercore, which herO has kindly shown us how not to do that. But, you know what? Well, no proxy gate this time. That might work out anyway. Clem in a clockwise position. And, well, my last chance to beg you to like and subscribe. And thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better. This has been a hectic yet unsurprisingly even series. Kind of like herO series always feel like a slap fight championship. All right, my turn, your turn, my turn. Where it's unclear where the pendulum will swing, but we know it will, one way or another. I'm reminded of Maru versus, which you haven't yet watched, Maru versus herO, the greatest finals ever played, or the series before it, I believe is the title. No, not the. I didn't title something the series before it. That would be weirdly meta and confusing. You know what I meant, though. Where the back and forth continued so much. Usually Clem versus herO is a little less seesawy, but only a little. Surprised to see no proxy in the middle of the map here, but herO calming down, which may or may not work out for him. The probe has the diplomatic 5 minerals, which allows him to pass the toll gate. I really don't know if Clem wanted the probe to be in here just to make sure he couldn't see, but... Oh. He baits him into thinking he can get out. Ah. But no. Gave him that moment, that taste of freedom, and baited him into going a little bit further and letting the Reaper kill it more quickly. But... here comes the Adept. Sneaks around the back. Clem scouted the second position. So he didn't know where herO spawned, which means his Reapers are quite late. The Adept gonna get chased down by the Reapers. So a small victory for Clem, especially considering he doesn't lose any HP on the Hellion, and the Reapers will heal. So, a good start for Clem when it comes to whittling down the options. The Protoss player. Stargate is on the way, and Oracle is the choice. And there's literally no anti-air right now, but it seems a bit optimistic. He's going to try to shade back, get a sip of the shield battery. Going to be very important. The Hellion will be knocked out. Another Adept on the way. The Oracle's only halfway done. The probes are next on the agenda. And, well, he's minimizing the losses quite well. Losing only 2 probes thus far. No shield battery in the main, but the Reaper Hellion just going to drive right on out. And he did not see the Stargate. Oh, no. Is there a Widow Mine? Yes. Well, where is it going to be? I think he's expecting to take out a hallucinated Phoenix, but the Oracle lights up and is already burninating across the mineral line. He just goes to the main. The Widow Mine was not prepared. This could have been an absolute disaster if he had it set up. Clem is trying to save his SCVs with the medevac. Wow. Which is quite something. And he succeeds to some extent. But herO has already done a lot of damage, okay? I was gonna say inordinate amount of damage, but I couldn't wrap my mouth around that. And with all that said, down goes another Oracle to the Cyclone immediately, but 7 SCVs dead. Wow, Clem down to 25 SCVs. Is already kind of a desperate situation because this was a macro cheese. Of course. herO has a 3rd Nexus nearly completed. He's got a dangerous amount of Adepts yet again. Kind of a great bookend to this series. Though we'll see if it ends the same way or if herO's able to make up for some of the mistakes. He's banking his units back at home. And some tactic boys are pulled. But the Adepts will cut off the reinforcements, including the SCVs. The already dire economic situation just got a little bit worse. And recalls the Adepts out. 4 out of 5 will make it out. Actually, no, the Liberator took a shot at the last moment. Meanwhile, Oracle in the main. The Liberator showing it technically has an anti-air attack, but it's just sad. Like, I was gonna say a wet paper bag, but more like a dry paper bag. Meanwhile, somehow Clem has been forced into an almost all-in position. The boys are just pulled. herO has shield batteries at both bases, though this pylon is in a precarious position. And picks up the Widow Mine and the Cyclone, the 2 most important parts. The siege tank, yeah, they're all in the air. The factory is dismantled. And here comes everyone piling in. The probes are underneath. He doesn't have enough energy to pick up the tank. Oh, the workers. Oh, the workers on either side are obliterated. Picks up another tank, scans to keep the lock. The Phoenix, though, and Clem is driven back off the field, and herO has 3 bases to fall back to. 19 probes dead, but Clem has the worker count that he started with. He picks up another Cyclone. He's chased across the map. The Stalkers are going to work. The Phoenixes are continuing at it. The Viking is knocked out of the sky. And I think herO's done it. With the casual Stargate slapping down everything Clem threw at him and just cutting through the mineral line, herO claims a topsy-turvy victory against the #1 Terran in the world. Again, a roller coaster. And again, I think Clem wants off Mr. herO's wild ride, but herO's just getting started. Still looking like the man to beat. Whenever you open up a series with herO, you never know what you're gonna get. It's funny, because herO's in the same boat. Well, of all the series I've ever seen, that was certainly one of them. And hopefully, one that inspires you to add 1 more like, or 1 more subscribe, or maybe, if you have the means and motivation, subscribe on Patreon or YouTube membership. But liking and subscribing and hyping is still free, at least for now. Thank you to our mule tier patrons for bringing in the extra minerals Clem could have used. Hey, Big Jiggy, Devin, Dor, Kate, Mario Suit. Glad you still enjoy. And thank you for watching. I hope I made your day just a little bit better. Hope to see you next time. Make sure to check out this video that Jimmy picked out just for you. And good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.